for being back. If you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for today. The National Security Adviser NSA Nuhu Ribadu has responded to remarks made by former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, stating that he is too occupied with national security matters to engage in a media battle. El-Rufai recently made comments suggesting that the South is now in control of Nigeria's political scene, sidelining the North. In response, Ribadu's media aide Zakari Mijinyawa clarified that the NSA remains focused on its responsibility and will not be distracted by public statements or political debates. Mijinyawa emphasized that Ribadu's priority is addressing the country's security challenges and he has no time for unnecessary controversies. He also urged the public to disregard any attempt to drag the NSA into political disputes. The statement comes amid growing discussions about regional influence in governance, but Ribadu has chosen to stay above the fray, maintaining his commitment to national stability. I still have with me Innocent Adoluba. Thank you so very much, Innocent, for hanging around.
My pleasure to be here again.
Yes, I think it's very so important that we talk about this, the rift, the fracas between Nasir El-Rufai and his closest friend. They used to be good buddies in the past, but right now they are cats and dogs, unfortunately, and all because of politics and the way they play politics. But let's take a look at the message and maybe forget about the messenger for a bit. El-Rufai is claiming that political interest, political might has left the northern part of Nigeria. And of course, he's attributing that to how Bola Ahmed Tinubu has permeated the north and totally disrupted what used to be a loyalty, a consensus in the northern part of Nigeria, which of course is neither here nor there. And he said, El-Rufai that is, that what is holding Nigeria today is the south-south region of Nigeria.
South-south or
yes.
southwest? Or?
He said southwest. He said south-south really. He made that. He said south-south, or the region holding on, or is the glue. That's actually how he put it. That the south-south is the glue right now holding Nigeria
together as a united country.
Yes, as a united country, because of its political
first of all,
affinity.
There is a comment, a cliche that says losers must complain. Many see El-Rufai now as having lost out of the present government administration. His sojourn to the Senate twice met with rejection for ministerial appointment,
which he attributed to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not to the House.
Well,
yes, he said that on national television.
El-Rufai is known to be free and flippant. He can attribute it to anyone. I dare say here that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 1992, a senator under this same government of General IBB, and then 1999, a governor of Lagos to 2007, has remained a political kingpin who let's not say single-handedly, but who built the blocks of the APC to throw out an incumbent party in Nigeria, unprecedented. He is a politician that is almost peerless at this time, if we go by his sagacity, his strategy, his building of a civilian army of loyalty, and that, at this time and age, has permeated the north. You look at somebody like Governor Obasani of Kaduna, is an IBB loyalist. You have them around, Ganduje, all of them. Again, fraternizing with the ruling political party. Because if you are a politician now and an opposition is weak, you are better off pitching your tent with the ruling party. If all of this doesn't seem what it is to Governor El-Rufai, he should also remember that he is part of those disloyal to the North in this his allegation, because his loyalty was to President Muhammadu Buhari of the APC at the time, and the APC route, if you ask me, is traceable to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So by being loyal to the APC, even though President Buhari, you are also loyal to a structure with a prominent person involved like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, yes, irrespective of the persona of Buhari as a Daura man from Katsina. Yes, please.
Yes, I wanted to ask, because you made lots of great symbolism of the man Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You said he is peerless, which means politically. But I'd love you to maybe juxtapose that with the Awos and the Nnamdi Azikiwes. Would we say the reason he is peerless is because of his style, which of course we all know it's not something we'd love to mention on national television? Can that really, you are a student, you study political history and all, can that in any way be legitimized when someone is able to garner loyalty not because he truly is drawn to it naturally? Can that in any way be given that's great symbolism and raised in high esteem?
I wasn't born in the days of Awo. I'm just in my 40s now. There are great Nigerians, Herbert Macaulay down the ranks, Anthony Nahoro, there are names I might not mention here, Azikiwe and the rest. Some analysts today will put Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of them all.
On what basis?
I will tell you. And I say it can be argued. In the days of the Awos, it was the era of activism towards attaining independence. And so, in that line,
genuine, because they were transparent, they were genuine. The cause they were fighting for was legitimate.
In that line, I will put the sage Obafemi Awolowo as my #1 icon, above the Ziks and all other people. Going by the history I've read, I'm not from the Southwest, for instance. But if we are talking politics, Henry, you know my cliche, politics is not righteousness. It is the end that justifies the means.
But that necessarily doesn't make it right.
That's why politics is not righteousness. If you seek righteousness, you go to church. In politics, propaganda is allowed. You are to outwit your opponent and lay your hand on the ultimate prize. In those manipulations, horse trading, concessions, pulling the rug off your opponent's feet, outsmarting, is where President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is ahead of his peers.
Is that a universal accepted concept, or it's a postulate people have concocted by themselves just to press home their desperation?
Well, the end justifies the means, Henry, and politics is a desperate activity. You throw in the towel to contest something. You see, maybe because we are Africans and the social conditions around us are dilapidated infrastructure, you find the politicians so wealthy and the masses so poor. We just talked about census, 1 point how much trillion, and you weigh government priorities versus the welfare of the masses. All of these have pigmented the masses' view and lenses towards those governing them. Again, justified, because if I know you, 2 years you go into government, you become large, living opulently, the lavish is there for you. And I wonder, is politics a business or a vocation? Do you understand me? So with all of this, you have that background to assess those in power, and I said, rightly so. But while our democratic institutions are developing, alongside the political culture trajectory. In this case, we are not as speedy as other people. Where we took off with people like Singapore, Thailand, Korea, Bangladesh, Brazil, their political culture journey has accelerated faster than ours. All right. And so there are aspects of development you can point at. And don't forget, a viable economy is the security of any democracy. So we haven't attained that economy yet. So our democracy is still on the waves, tossing. So but within all of this, if we want to just talk politics, it could be Machiavellian, it could be Mafian, it could be oligarchic. But in starting your political journey with your eye on the prize and grabbing it, I want to say, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he doesn't know me. I don't know if I'm campaigning for him. He already is a president. He doesn't need campaign at this time. Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president and commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is politically ahead of his peers. But if we come down to the topic of Nuhu Ribadu and El-Rufai, I would tell you again that El-Rufai, while was in the fold, was singing a different music. Outside of the fold, he is singing in discordant tunes. And so you can look at what his position and location is making him spew out. And for the second time, if these are true, I would want to salute the statesman Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Adviser, because at the instance where the defense chief, Christopher Musa, had the visa saga versus Canada, he condemned it.
Who condemned it?
Nuhu Ribadu. Okay. But he said the solution is for Nigeria to develop itself and let other people come to us as suitors. We can now take a commanding position to determine who comes and who doesn't. So in this case, he has given a dignified statesman's answer. He has national assignments to deal with, which is makes him too busy to be petty at the level of Nasir El-Rufai.
Or is it because he feels Nasir El-Rufai is one person that you don't mess around with? Because I would love to believe if that statement was made from somebody lower in the cadre, now Ribadu would have gotten the person arrested, obviously.
I don't think that kind of comment warrants an arrest in a democratic setting. You see,
because with our Cybercrime Act and cyber stalking and
no, you see,
you don't
those in government,
you can't but expect anything.
Or those who are in certain position uses, and that is corruption, the use of public office for private gain. A lot of people, who was that we saw the other time? Was it was that man that owns that university now? The lawyer? Is it Are
Afe Babalola?
You know, I think there was a saga.
Yes, with Dele Farotimi.
And I wonder that such a celebrated son avoided the route of the law for arrest. If I feel you have not dealt with me right, I will sue you and you go and defend it. You cannot defame me and then the next action is arrest within this kind of democratic framework where the rule of law should be supreme. So if El-Rufai made such a comment, and even if he were lower and Nuhu Ribadu had him arrested, Nuhu Ribadu would have lowered his personal democratic credentials. Again, within our political culture, it counts little among many people. But I think that response from Nuhu Ribadu cemented, dignified his statesmanship status to me once again, like I mentioned in the Canada visa saga. El-Rufai, for me, has been what you said nobody messes up with. Has been messed up. We saw how many journeys he made to the National Assembly. I don't think other ministers traveled 2 missionary journeys. I don't think so. So for him to repeat it already, the repetition, the second time, is of low value.
Now, you have said he is a sore loser, and that's the reason he is spewing all the things he has done. But let's take a look at Nasir El-Rufai's contribution to ensuring that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, takes the day. You remember, he was the one that proposed for the Muslim ticket. He did an experiment with that with himself in Kaduna State. Saw that a richly divided state between Christians and Muslims. He was able to put together a Muslim ticket in Kaduna, and nobody said anything about it, and he felt it could equally work for the nation state. He proposed it, and it worked. At Chatham House, if you could still remember the viral video, after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did all the distribution of questions to his lieutenants, and it was time for them to celebrate, Nasir El-Rufai was closest to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the same Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in one of the public gathering he had, he called El-Rufai to the podium to tell him in the front of everyone that he was going to work with him. Now, how come the same Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has done so much in getting Nasir El-Rufai close, according to Nasir El-Rufai, has said that it is Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is behind him not being relevant in today's government?
Well, at the time, El-Rufai had no choice than to do what he did. Of course, he was on his way out of his 8-year tenure for 2 terms. But he was still a member of the party. And at the time, for lack of vision or to predict how today would turn out, he has no choice but to be loyal to the movement that matters at the time. President Buhari was transiting power to his party man and to a large extent his political mentor, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Whose political mentor?
Yes, Bola Tinubu is a political mentor to Buhari.
Really?
Of course.
Well, that can be disputed to some
here and there.
Quarters,
but it was under the Asiwaju umbrella in APC that Buhari's CPC faction thrived to achieve his presidential ambition. So a mentor doesn't necessarily mean to be one old person that you look at from afar. You can be my peer and then my mentor. I have never heard President Buhari say Asiwaju Bola Ahmed is his mentor. Quote me. But I'm saying within that setting, that's a mentor. And so he was going to hand over the power within the party at the time to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed as the presidential candidate. And so APC was in power. President Buhari was ruling. Nasir El-Rufai, His Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State, was a core member of the APC caucus, especially from that region. And Kaduna has been a state in the news for different reasons. If you listen to the deposed Senator Sheikh Husani, you will hear the other side of the coin. But El-Rufai is ruthless, he's resolute,
yes.
And his mandate was to deliver, and he delivered. And take it or leave it, where he is today, whether it is traceable to the president or not, are part of the political credentials I told you of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All he needed to do was have his way, and he has had his way.
So could that be said to be mischievous? Because you can't throw someone under the bus just for you to get something from him, and at the end of the day decide not to work with the same person.
I will tell you, as we sit, that is not mischief. That is politics. And you see, politics has a lot of definitions, whether in Nigeria or abroad. You hear Harold Laswell will tell you, politics is the shaping and sharing of power. A lot of people tell you who gets what. No, politics is the shaping and sharing of power. And you see, the power, somebody would define power as the ability to produce intended results. That is power. And so Asiwaju has got the results he intends to get. I think at this stage, it would dignify His Excellency El-Rufai, someone I admire from his days in the BPE, all through governance. He has done well, but power is transient. Even Asiwaju's time will come, he will go the way of nature. Whoever is governor now, you run your course, you go the way of nature. And for governors, either you take a senatorial route, or maybe you are within reckoning of the succeeding government. But this gubernatorial tenure will end.
But Innocent, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You know, it is not El Dorado yet for the APC. Currently, there is a very big turmoil in the party. For the last 2 years, they've not had a Congress. You know, it's been one-man show, which of course what Nasir El-Rufai has been complaining. Tinubu has been running the show, you know, from get-go, and he and Nasir El-Rufai and his camp are not happy, obviously. Do you see a repeat of what happened against the PDP, where every opposition, as much as they were, came together and did something PDP would never have imagined? Do you see that happening with the APC?
Like, you mean if a new party merger can come to
yeah,
trouble?
because as it is looking now, El-Rufai is championing the merger of minority groups. The Labour Party, Obi, is there have been a talk. Atiku Abubakar has been part of it. Kwankwaso has been part of it. So lots of opinion leaders have been on the side of trying to see if they can upset, you know, what APC think it has. And let's not forget, Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows too well that it is not the jolly good APC that he brought after Buhari's term in office.
Well, I think when parties merge, when parties coalesce, it's a good thing. APC are in a good place.
APC are in a good place.
Yes, whether they have...
You feel there are no internal
they're in
crisis?
a good place. Whether they have internal crisis or not, they are in a good place. With their internal crisis, they are better than the opposition and their own crisis. That's my annoyance as a public commentator. I would think that when APC is imploding within, there will be opposing parties strengthening to pick holes in their deficits and use that to ascend. Like you mentioned in one of our cities, the sittings in the English House of Lords, yes, and you are pitched against your opponent. You are finger pointing. I don't know what PDP now can finger point at APC, which will be true, but which will carry weight.
But there's this allegation that APC has been the one really, causing the rift between the opposition, so they can at least manage the little crashes that they have.
That is politics, my brother. That is politics. If I don't know where to say come from, APC, it can do anything to bring PDP to its knees if it will strengthen APC's position. It is left for PDP to be on the lookout to scan the political environment for opportunities and risk and ward of threats, and be united in itself and fish out Judas and grow strong. It's an open space. It's warfare. It's Hobbesian. It's like nature. And within what we are analyzing here, the APC, you said, has been like a one-man show. As long as their heads and shoulders, Labour Party is imploded with the Aburi saga, whether it was funded by APC or not is immaterial. It is for your house to unite, because a house divided against itself cannot stand. Like APC, like PDP, like Labour, every fortress has its soft underbelly if an enemy knows where to look. If we point accusing fingers at APC crumbling opposition, it means they know where to look better than the oppositions know where to look. If you get my point. And in Nigeria, the ruling party sits on vast resources. And so that's enough war chest. So that is where, again, I seem to be singing Ashiwaju's praise. Outside of government, he could mastermind the coalition that took out the PDP. So if, from what you said, El-Rufai is contemplating another mega measure, that's fine for democracy.
Because
democracy will be evolving.
Yes, because I see a repeat of what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did as against the PDP, and El-Rufai equally replicated because he understands the formula. He was there when everything was done.
Yes, but you see, there is, let me use the word. I never knew a day would come out sing the praise of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's one thing for Tinubu's coalition to have reached its destination. It's another thing for another one to. His may not be the last, but it will be interesting. Nigerians want to see this rise in political participation that will objectively try to outwit. If you feel one government is not doing well, take them out. I would be happy to see that. It will favor my mentality. It will ventilate my hope that my children are growing up in a country where democratic competition is healthy. And as for one man running the show in APC thus far, one of the glaring gap is that up till now, no Congress. Up till now, ambassadors are yet to be appointed. But in all of that, the government is running. So that's where I said it behooves opposition to organize well and fight right, as we said with the English House of Lords and Commons. Yeah. Secondly, if one man is running the show and the government is sailing this steady, in quotes, that validates the universal principle of the iron law of oligarchy. You know, regardless of how democratic we are as is now, the true democracy practically and theoretically impossible to run without a few, a few, what you call cabal, are holding and sailing. That word cabal is if the oligarchy is not perfect, it's not high, they will crumble. So I think I have more expectation from the ruling APC. If you look at power, you look at economy, oil, naira impotency to the dollar, high cost of food. I have a lot of expectation. I'm in the system. I pay high bills.
You have high expectations that things will return back to what it was.
I have high. I demand higher from what they are giving us now.
Okay.
If you get my point, as a Nigerian, I wish things were better than how they are. But individually, you and I can do nothing. It may be beyond what we are doing. I like that Labour Party gets together, get the answer. PDP, or maybe Labour haven't punched that high in the last election, can coalesce with the PDP. If the interest in those groups can align, it's the alignment that is the bedrock of any coalition. So if the interest can align, and then battle the APC.
Now, do you think Peter Obi Atiku Abubakar merger might pull a very serious blow on the APC?
If they can use my advice for free,
please do.
I would say that they should merge, but at this time, Atiku can take a back seat.
Atiku can take a back seat?
Yes, as a non-contestant.
Why is everybody talking about Atiku that way? Like he has done one bad thing?
No, there's nothing bad about him. Atiku is a serial loser.
Buhari has always been a serial loser until now.
Yes,
so let's not make it look like
age is not favoring him anymore.
Buhari, same thing. Buhari, same thing.
I would prefer an Atiku to Buhari.
You would prefer an Atiku
to Buhari.
Okay.
But in this discussion for this measure, when they merge, they should not crumble by their own undoing.
So who do you think
when they merge, in quotes, for the purpose of this discussion?
Yes.
A Peter Obi in that measure will be a higher selling commodity than Atiku Abubakar. But Atiku Abubakar's presence and hobnobbings can be a mastercraft unifying factor beneath. You can put in the likes of that mass man, Kwankwaso. You can go to ethnic minorities who feel aggrieved and gather. I haven't said, look at Asiwaju Bola Ahmed. Until his emergence, he was a statesman pulling the strings. nobody was happy, in quote, that, oh, power should go to the north. But from the measure, we don't know what draft they played, and everything looked acceptable from that leadership structure as it was. So in such a measure, there are great guys. Maybe Showore, maybe here, Kingsley Moghalu, do you understand me? Maybe you can bring in the Okonjo-Iwealas. There are some of them, the woman who lost her election in Adamawa, a lot of them,
or the AFDB chair.
Is it Olusegun? What's his name now?
The AFDB, African Development Bank.
Yes, yes, I've forgotten his name now.
Yes, exactly.
But you see, is he going to be willing in that opposition? And then it will count where our Papa, President Olusegun Obasanjo, is still said towards. So all of these intrigues are a quick one. For me, I would love to see. It tells you the democracy is growing and competition is not static. Yeah,
very, very true. Because actually, lots of people might think we had digressed from the Ribadu issue and the El-Rufai, but it's very important that we talk about this thing holistically. Yes, exactly. Because it's intertwined. You know, because the reason the Ribadu and El-Rufai issue
is along party lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, even this Nuhu Ribadu was a PDP party boy.
Yeah.
Because he was well favored by President Olusegun Obasanjo. El-Rufai was once favored by the government. Yes. So this cross-carpeting, it makes the conversation a wide net. While El-Rufai was eating from the table, he had a different tune from where he is now in his political limbo. You know, so, and like I said, losers must complain. El-Rufai was not complaining a few years ago. Yeah. So, and he has journeyed twice to the Senate and came back empty-handed. That's not a joyful journey. So, yes, along the lines, I have said it that I am pleased with Nuhu Ribadu's response. You don't dignify a usurper. That's how I'll let it land. Very,
very true. Of course, the chicken has come home to roost, actually. El-Rufai is having issues with Kaduna State. His godson having feud with him already, 2 years down the line. And right now, at the center, he's equally having so much people to fight with. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Ribadu, and so many other people. But let's see how this goes, though. It's a developing story. And right here on Enterprise Television, we promise to give you up-to-date analysis on some of them. Thank you so very much, Innocent Aduduba.
It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, people, that's just about the time we have for today. We'd love to appreciate you for making this picture complete. We truly do appreciate you, and never would take your time for granted, but please do well to be part of what we do. You can always drop your comments anytime that you want to, and read some more on this topic and many others from enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwe BK. It's nice doing business with you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.